Well, welcome one and all to the Bike Racing Without Mercy training vlog. And today I'm going to explore the extreme training and fat loss strategy from Chris Froome during a 9-day block during the 2018 Giro d'Italia that he used in order to cut his weight from 69.5 to 68.5 in order to be at his ideal climbing weight for the latter stages of the Giro that he went on to win. So today is a little simulation. One, courtesy of Zwift. I'm going to rack up 159 kilometers, equivalent to the distance of stage 11 of the Giro d'Italia. But I'm also using the exact nutrition Chris used in order to create that huge caloric deficit, but to get him through each stage with minimal time loss. Now, the reason I've selected stage 11 of the Giro d'Italia to kind of conduct this simulation is because we know exactly what Chris ate, because he went on to win the 2018 Giro overall. Obviously, everybody knows about his sensational breakaway and stay away up the Finestra and the subsequent descent, where he took the GC lead. A lot more calories were consumed ahead of and during that particular stage, and I'm going to explore that in the next video. But following the victory, Team Sky posted all of Chris's nutrition for both stage 11 and stage 18. So I'm able to create a very accurate simulation in terms of energy expenditure, 3,600 calories, but also what he ate, the macronutrient content, and also the calories to create that huge deficit. It's all published. And I found it super interesting. I hope you will too. The fueling for stage 11 would have started immediately after stage 10. So let's head back in time to last night, Friday night, and I'll show you exactly what Chris ate, and of course, what I ate, in order to fuel today. Well, it's Friday night, ahead of my own replica tomorrow of stage 11 of the Giro d'Italia 2018. Now, I'm subbing out the salad here, and I'm going with courgette and pepper. Just got some 1 cal in the frying pan just to keep the fats and the calories nice and low. I'm subbing out the chicken with some tuna, and then I'll use the rice just to bring up the calories and the carbs. 450 calories it may be, but the volume is what's going to fill you up, and obviously the carbs are going to fuel the athletic performance. About 22 grams of protein, 100 calories from the tuna, and then about another 100 calories I'm guessing from the veg here, and then we bring it up with 250 calories from the rice. You can see plenty of rice left there in the packet. Well, it sure is dry, but effective, and that's what it took to win the Giro d'Italia in 2018 and for Chris to shed a couple of pounds. Just about to start the first of the climb. That was emotional. I thought we were going to be a bit more leisurely than that. I've let myself fall out of the back group. They're only doing 50 kilometers. I've got another 110. I was going to blow up badly within 20. They were very powerful over the little punchy climbs. I guess the clue was in the title. Saturday puncher stuff. I am not a puncher. There we go. That one completed. But our little group of 3 has become 4. Somebody dropped off the front. in the final 5 kilometers nearly. So you've seen the dinner that's helped fuel today. And I should also put some context. Yesterday was a full training day, quite a hard one. I burned off 1,400 calories during the training and probably another 1,800 sedentary in the day. So 3,200 calories burned and I consumed 2,400. So a deficit around about 800, which is a lot more than I would advocate normally. So it's not like I've started the day fully replete with all the glycogen stores and having had a good day's eating. I'm a little bit depleted, I guess. Not as depleted as Chris Froome would have been, I don't know, 6 or 7 days into a training block of 9 days of caloric deficit. Feeling okay so far. The rice is good that I had for breakfast, and last night, you'll see breakfast in just a second. Looking to survive in this group over the little hill. Here we come. Stay seated this time. I wasn't very efficient last time. Bring the cadence up a bit. This group doesn't have quite the same punch. I'll pull back towards the end. In the final kilometre, trying not to burn myself out. That was hard. Didn't really intend to do that in the final 300. Straight into zone 2. Time to think about refueling in a second. But first, let's have a look at breakfast. First thing this morning. Pre-race weigh-in. There we go. Now time for some more rice. Yeah, a lot more rice. 6:30, a little bit earlier for breakfast than Chris, who had his breakfast around about 8:30 during the Giro d'Italia. There we go. And the rice beckons. So it stipulates 3 whites and a yolk. I've taken most of the yolk out, the first 2 eggs. So here's the main one. There we go, here you go. Not too much shell there. All is well. Come on. Not the easiest to do with one hand. This isn't the bake-off. "70 grams of carbs from this, 35 grams a serving. Omelets doing nicely. Let's give it a flip. There we go. They always look a bit anemic when you go the egg white method. And breakfast is served. The breakfast of a genuine champion. Look at that. Doesn't it look appetizing? But Chris did allow himself one little treat. I reckon about 100 millilitres of orange juice. Nice, Chris. Well, it comes in at about 520 calories. You get 70 grams of carbs from the rice, another 8 from the orange juice there, 28 grams of protein in the omelette, and also 11 grams of fat. Anyway,
Well, I know from my first 2 or 3 bodybuilding shows many years ago when I was on a restrictive diet, something I don't actually advocate anymore. One of the side benefits of that is that you retrain the bacteria in your gut to move away from craving all the fatty, high sugar foods that are high in calories, and you once again learn to appreciate the simpler things in life. For example, fruit. I used to love eating an apple and really enjoy the sweetness of an apple. To this day, I still love a pink lady, as you know, in the fridge. Therefore, this probably is a decent treat for Chris. He probably does enjoy the sweetness of the orange juice. Cheers. That is super nice. I haven't had orange juice in ages.
Just completing a 4th loop of the Richmond UCI circuit. And then I'm going to have a little refuel. Once I've ascended the final of the little climbs. Feeling good. Clearly the dinner and the breakfast, heavy on the rice, topped up the glycogen stores enough to get me through the first hour and 40 minutes for sure. Long way to go. 95 kilometers. Well, you've seen dinner and breakfast. It's now time to refuel on the bike. I've had a little technical glitch, so I actually have consumed a little bit already, but let's recap. So during stage 11, Chris consumed 3 bottles of water. Now I've added some amino acids into 2 of my bottles because I'm a believer that the amino acids are rapidly absorbed into the bloodstream and they help protect the muscles against breakdown during distance exercise like this. And that's something I'm keen to do. Chris just had water for stage 11. He also consumed 5 energy gels, SIS. I'm using High 5 here. 22 grams of carbohydrate per gel. So 110 grams of carbs from the gels. And he also consumed 110 grams of carbs from rice cakes. Here's my rice cakes. Now I'm aware that in a pro peloton they make more calorie dense rice cakes. These only have 8 grams of carbs per cake. I'm going to really struggle to eat those. I will try, but because of that I'm also adding in one of these Quaker oats porridge to go. And I'm going to start with this. So about 250 calories, mainly carbohydrate, because it's going to take a little bit longer to digest. You can see I've already had a bit. The camera was mucking up. I do find it hard to eat the solid foods and cycle. So I'm going to make my way slowly through this. I'm also going to have an energy gel now. So, going with an apple gel. Bring the power back up. You can see the power's all over the place for me while I'm eating. That tastes great. After 2 bland meals, I had dinner and breakfast. That is marvellous, really sweet and lovely. But all in all, Chris consumed 220 grams of carbs during stage 11, just shy of 1,000 calories. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll let you know how I feel shortly. Obviously, I'm going to ration them out over the course of the next 50 or so kilometers. Feels good so far though. Definitely all of the rice from last night and this morning has given me good energy today so far. I'll have a look for the next event too. Just coming up to 100 kilometers. I've rebooted the diesel engine, and I think I left the first feed a bit too late because I went for a bit of a wobbly patch, but I've been feeling okay at upper zone 2, lower zone 3 since the carbs took good effect. There's the 100. Time for another gel. Having had an orange juice this morning, time for an orange juice by High Five. That's my third gel. I've eaten that. Had a couple of these as well. Feeling very tired at this stage. I am going to look for another event just to break the monotony of this. So I'm going to report back once I found one. Two seconds to go. Start of the Tour de Zwift, stage 4 I think it is. Sand and Sequoias. And we're off. I've got 101 kilometers on the clock. Another 59 to go. I think this is about 40 odd. I'm just going to find a nice group to ride with. 2 minutes, 2 seconds in. It does feel pretty difficult already. I'm just going to tap out tempo here, and hopefully this little group will be a decent one to stay with. Look at us zigzagging over the road. Well, the diesel engine's rebooted again, that's nice. Tapping out 200 to 220 watts, feels decent, but we've got the undulations of Titan's growth coming, so time for my second caffeine gel. I had no coffee before starting the ride, so hopefully this will just give me a little boost to stay in this group through the undulations of Titan's growth, which I find difficult. That's my fourth gel. One to go. Struggling to go above zone 2 here. Oh dear, it's too much for me. What I find difficult when I'm really fatigued is the changes in pace. Here on the Titan's Grove climb, I'm okay, able to tap out zone 2 through lower tempo. It was the undulations that were absolutely murdering me. This is quite emotional. Well, after the hell of Titan's Grove, just re-establishing the equilibrium, the nice rhythm, circular pedaling motion, nice high cadence, good breathing. It's quite emotional to say the least. Boy oh boy. But time to pamper myself on Tempest Fusion Flat, have the final gel. This is the 5th gel. Oh, tasted good. I'll report back for the hell of Titan's Grove in about 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so, whenever it is. Feeling very fatigued now. This is about obviously 123 kilometers in. Well, I'm still in the same group, just about hung on through the undulating part. We're most of the way up the Titans Grove climb. Power 220, sorry, power 200 to 230. Super hard. My SD card is about to run out, so report back towards the very end. We're coming over the top of the Titans Grove KOM. My little world imploded. You'll see there a whole load of zone 1. And in all honesty, an emotional breakdown. But I had a stern conversation with myself, and as we hit the flat, I've rebooted the diesel engine for the last time. Got the cadence okay, breathing's okay, feel a lot better. But boy oh boy, am I on my last reserves. Chris Froome, sir, how you managed a 9-day block with this kind of caloric deficit and still went on to win the Giro d'Italia, I do not know. Anyway, at the end of this I'm going to show you Chris's post-ride recovery. Don't expect all the usual baked products. And as I say, I'm also filming how he fueled for the Finestra. Hell of a lot more calories. Looking forward to that. There we go. Oh dear. 197 watts average. Hashtag emotional. No. I know it's only about 144 kilometers, but I am all in. Well, it's post-ride nutrition, Chris Froome style, and unfortunately my beloved M&S Ice Spice buns, low fat though they are not on the agenda. But here's what Chris had at the end of stage 11. So we've got the rice, again the rice makes a welcome appearance. The rice giving 50 grams of carbohydrate, and then tuna providing 70 grams of protein, about another 500 or so calories here. All in, the calorie count for the day is 2,465. 407 grams from carbohydrates, you got 139 grams from protein, and a further 32 grams from fat. So let's give it a try. I think we know it's not going to be the most delicious. I've got to say I don't have much of an appetite, notwithstanding what will be a big caloric deficit that we'll touch on in a second. You know, it's right. So today I completed 145 kilometers on Zwift, 1,146 meters of climbing, 2,916 calories incinerated. It was 3 hours 45 minutes of training. Yes, a Zwift kilometer comes about 12% quicker than a real life kilometer. Check out my video, we'll put the link in there. Average power 220 watts, that was 3.4 watts a kilogram, and for me a massive 226 TSS. So I consumed 2,465 calories, including the dinner last night, less the 2,916 calories burned off, less about 1,800 that I burn off in a normal kind of sedentary life, I guess. So my total caloric deficit was 2,251. Chris, on the other hand, takes things to another level. 159 kilometers, 1,000 meters or so of climbing, 3,635 calories burned off during stage 11. He consumed 2,465, less the 3,635, less about 1,900 I guess for Chris. He's a bit younger than me, his metabolism's higher, he's a little bit bigger than me, so that's what he'd kind of burn off in a normal sedentary kind of day. His caloric deficit was a whopping 3,070. I mean, absolutely huge. Well, both of them are huge. No way sustainable. I'd never do this again. So what have I learned? Well, I think the mindset of the champion takes things to another level. To even consider running a calorie deficit like that for 9 days during a Grand Tour just tells you how determined Chris was to win and get down to his optimal weight for the climbing stages where he could take back time lost. I also learned that rice is a very good fuel indeed.
I also learned that when you cut it too fine in terms of the calories you're consuming during the ride, and you end up bonking, as I did with about 7 kilometers to go, it comes on very, very quickly indeed. There are of course some warning signs, but with 7 kilometers to go, I thought I was home and dry, and then suddenly my little world imploded, as I say. I also found that the body is incredible. It's very resourceful. I wouldn't personally do this again, but for elite athletes who have supervision by proper experts who are being paid to win, well, I guess it's one of the tools in their armoury, not one that us mere mortals should contemplate. Well, it's Sunday morning, and it's fair to say I slept pretty soundly last night. On the agenda right now is a lovely recovery ride with many of you at Mont Ventoux, courtesy of Zwift. But check out here the weight loss, courtesy of the Chris Froome Giro d'Italia regime. 1 kilogram in just 24 hours. I mean, you try stringing that kind of caloric deficit together for 9 days, let alone in the middle of a grand tour. It's incredible. Anyway, on the agenda right now is the amino acids and cold coffee.